how do you feel being at the highest level of Globalist and Hilton Diamond between the two properties? What do you think?
Yeah, so I also have a very opinionated take on this. Now, the points, though, are trash. I mean, they're complete garbage. You can you can only get value out of Hilton points at the very high end, and even then, it's like, God, the Aspire card is the only reason I care about the Hilton program. If the Aspire card didn't exist, I would say Hilton is trash.
Okay, guys, so there's been a lot of contention lately, a debate going on between Hilton and Hyatt hotels.
And you guys know how much I love my Hiltons and my Hyatts. They call me the Hilton Hyatt hybrid, and
This is why I film in the car office. Now you guys understand why. So we have a guy named Shaun on my podcast recently who's obviously very well traveled and has experienced these hotel programs to an insane degree. So I feel like it goes without saying, but viewer discretion is advised for this video because there's going to be a lot of hot takes and most of them regarding Hilton. So by the end of this, I really want to hear your guys' opinions on your stays that you've done with Hilton and Hyatt or any other program for that matter, and who you think actually is the best hotel chain. So as always, roll the clip.
So I know you're a Hyatt Globalist and a Hilton Diamond, so you have the highest levels of status between these two. So there's been debate, and I've put this together on my channel. I had a guy named Cesar Joel. Who's on top of the hotel game? Who's got the best hotel program? Cesar, you have the floor.
Well, Hyatt is trash, so that one is easy. I mean,
and he's all about Hilton hotels, and he kind of denounces Hyatt just for the ones that he tried to book. Like, he wasn't able to even get on the online app. Like, I don't know, he didn't have the greatest experiences. And then I had a guy named JP Knowledge, who seems like you have been blowing the whistle on earlier than anybody else in the space. What's the deal with Hyatt Hotel? Was all about Hyatts, and he's done a bunch of these crazy hotels like Japan and a few other countries. They had this debate, and it sparked like a huge comment section of just people like, man, Hyatt's horrible or Hyatt's amazing, and vice versa. How do you feel being at the highest level of Globalist and Hilton Diamond between the two properties? What do you think?
Yeah, so I also have a very opinionated take on this. Okay. I will say it's important to understand that when we talk about, I've had the highest status effectively in every hotel program. The only one I haven't is Marriott. I have Titanium, not Ambassador. IHG, I had Diamond last year. So I can talk about all of these. They all have their own unique ability. And so I think it's important to understand the reason behind why you would get into each program. So for Hilton, the reason you get into the program is because it's the easiest thing in the world to get their top level status. That is why the program is valuable. The Aspire card is the only reason I care about the Hilton program. If the Aspire card didn't exist, I would say Hilton is trash. The Aspire card is so overpowered and so good because of that free night certificate, because of the resort credit, because of the easy to get value out of that credit card, and the fact that you can get Diamond without any effort. That's what makes it good. So if you're someone that isn't going to be staying in hotels a lot, but especially if you're going like internationally sometimes, but you're not going to be able to earn hotel status, Hilton Diamond's where it's at because you can get top level. That's what Hilton's going for. Because if you're someone that doesn't travel much, but you can just get some credit card that gives you top level status, that person's always going to stay in Hilton's because if I don't have status anywhere else, but I have status with Hilton, that's going to be a better experience.
Yeah.
So now the points though are trash. I mean, they're complete garbage. You can you can only get value out of Hilton points at the very high end, and even then, it's like, God, like it's so tough. It's so tough to earn these points. So that's the value of the Hilton program. So now there is also some value buying the points. I will say, if you're someone that's willing to buy points for aspirational stays, there's also value there. Yeah. For Hyatt, the value is the points are a piece of cake to earn comparatively. It's a piece of cake to get good redemption value comparatively, because you can get good redemption value on the low and the high end all across the board with Hyatt, as long as you're willing to pick your redemptions a bit. It's also the fact that at the high level, Hyatt is the one that you pick if you want consistent status recognition. Hilton in the US, the status is like, come on, it doesn't exist to a major degree. Where you'll be staying at these even luxurious properties, and it's not going to be that great of status recognition. Hyatt, though, extraordinarily consistent. If there's a standard suite open on the app, you betcha I'm getting that standard suite. If they don't give me the standard suite, I will literally contact my concierge with Hyatt or email Hyatt customer support. And I had one time. There was a time I didn't get a standard suite, and I was like, you know what? It was open. I was only there one night. Not a big deal, but like, come on. The duty manager personally called me up and apologized because I didn't get the standard suite. Like, and this was at a Hyatt Regency in Long Beach. Like, this wasn't a super like high-end hotel. You think that would happen with Hilton? No way. So Hyatt's the one you pick for consistent recognition and good value points. Just quickly, IHG is the one you pick for very, dirt cheap to buy points at to get easy value discount on cash stays. Marriott's the one you pick if you're willing to pay cash for these hotels and you just want to go anywhere on the planet and have your status recognized. Because Marriott by far is the best luxury portfolio of any of the hotels. And if you're going internationally, the status is recognized pretty well. In the US, of course, it's got issues, but internationally, Marriott status, very valuable. And if you're willing to pay cash, you can go anywhere on the planet and get status recognized at luxury hotels. Whereas Hilton, they have a trash luxury portfolio. So that's their biggest weakness.
Oh my god. Yes, Stan, the Credit Frog, is here. He said, we need Cesar Joel to come in and defend Hilton. and Luke, for that matter.
Hilton still has its place. I won't argue that. But I think, if you're going to tell me that Hilton has better status recognition than Hyatt, that's just patently false. That just isn't true. Just, by the pure nature of how many Hilton Diamonds there are versus how many Hyatt Globalists there are. It's just, orders of magnitude more difficult to acquire Hyatt Globalist.
Some of the Hiltons were great too, but more so they were great because good location, nice people, and you just had like the dining credits and whatnot. That I do enjoy that Hilton does have, that I don't know if Hyatt necessarily has, I guess depending on the properties, but like daily dining credits. Does Hyatt have
Hilton? So Hilton has the dining credit within the US, and then internationally it's continental breakfast.
Yeah.
For Hyatt, you don't get any benefit unless you reach Globalist. And this is why Globalist, if you're doing Hyatt, if you're trying to acquire status, anything but Globalist is basically useless status-wise. So Globalist is, what's really nice is the terms are very, very specific. So if the property has a club lounge, you have access to the club lounge. That's first and foremost. There's no other breakfast benefit then because presumably the club lounge is serving a breakfast and, some appetizers in the evening and stuff. If they do not have a club lounge, you are guaranteed full breakfast, including tax and gratuity for up to 2 adults and 2 children per room. Wow. And so I guess only technically for 1 room, but a lot of hotels will honor it for multiple rooms. So that's what Hyatt guarantees you. And in terms of the specific implementation across properties, it depends, but you are guaranteed a full breakfast, including gratuity as well. So that's really nice because you never have to, feel this like, oh, I have to tip them as well now. Like I just literally write on the tip line, Globalist included tip, because in the terms, Hyatt has to include the tip, and they are paying it to the servers. So that is included in there, so I never have to worry about what I'm paying for breakfast.
Wow. But is that across all Hyatt properties?
Yes, across all Hyatt properties. Really? I mean, the only exceptions are like, if it's a Hyatt Vacation Club where it's like, a vacation club property. But across every Hyatt full service, hotel that's actually full Hyatt, it is guaranteed to be included.
Wow.
That is the rule. There's like one property in Waikiki, the Centric, that kind of like gets around it by not having a restaurant or a club lounge. But exceedingly rare circumstances in which that happens. Like basically, and even then, I would think Hyatt would copy if you complained. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So, one of the main contentions that for people in the game have always mentioned is Hyatt is not good because I can't find any. So there's only X amount nowhere else. So, what do you say to the people who mention like there's no Hyatts anywhere?
So I will say first of all, it's going to depend on what type of properties you want to stay at. So if you're someone that does luxury properties, Hyatt is actually very competitive, even compared to the other portfolios. Like Hilton, yes, they have way more properties, but Hyatt's got a way better luxury portfolio. It's really tough to find high-end Hiltons. Same thing with IHG. IHG doesn't even really have a true luxury segment. I mean, so, they have a couple nice Kimptons. Intercontinentals are nice, but those aren't really at the, top tier. Whereas Hyatts, they have a lot of Park Hyatts. They have Leelas. They have, especially like in Asia and stuff, there's a really good luxury portfolio within Hyatt. So if you're doing the luxury side, Hilton is not going to be any better than Hyatt. If you're doing the mid to lower range properties, then yes, it does become more difficult. And this is, again, where I think it depends on you. You need to understand the pros and cons of each program, where it's not like, okay, I love Hyatt personally because I like to get good points value, consistent elite recognition, and do luxury properties. But if you are someone that isn't doing luxury properties and you just need a standard hotel anywhere you want, then yeah, Hilton might make more sense because there are going to be more low to mid-end Hilton properties across the US. But if you're going internationally to aspirational properties, you are not going to find that Hilton is better than Hyatt. That is just not true. So
Interesting.
it's all dependent on the type of hotels you stay at and the frequency at which you stay at them. And yeah, that's really what's going to be the deciding factor.
I think that's great. I never considered that. I never thought about like, okay, maybe the footprint is like 10x at Hilton, something like that. But I guess a part of that 10x is a lot of Hampton Inns and Hilton Garden Inns and stuff like that. So I guess if you really should compare it, because I've been Hyatt Places even like one I went to recently was like nicer, like on a higher level than I would say than just your normal Hilton Garden Inn or maybe like on the level of a True or something like around there by Hilton. So it's interesting to kind of compare, like if you're going to compare Hilton and Hyatt, just compare like the mid to high tier levels, and then the amount of properties in those levels will probably be a lot more similar. I never thought about that.